Rev.N.Samuel of Tranquebar, professor in Divinity, pastor, Tamil Evangelical Lutheran Church. He was a famous poet and author of many books. He was also the first member of the Leipzig Evangelical Lutheran Mission Council. Timeline: born at Kumbakonam on 18 September 1850. Trained by R. Hand Min, Tranquebar Seminary 1877–1880 and AMP 1892–1901. Ordained on 31 October 1878 at Tranquebar by Senior J.M.N. Schwartz. Pastor at Tranquebar 1880–1891 and AMP 1897–1919. Pastor at Karakal 1897–1919. Pastor at Manikramam 1919. Pastor at Port-Ayar 1917–1919. Pastor at Bangalore 1921. With Missouri Mission 1921–1927. Returned to TELC early 1927. Died in Madras on 20 May 1927. Professor. He was the first Indian professor in the theological colleges in Tranquebar, Port-Ayar, and Bangalore. He was slated to teach some classes in the Gurukul Lutheran Theological College in Chennai when he died. Poet. Best known among his lyrics are Enmeet Parvarodrug Ili, Sonagalan Karthari, Sirthiri Yegavasthi, and Gunapadu Pavi. He composed the college song Aralaput Karatal Thangi and designed the monogram for the Gurukul Lutheran Theological College. Vedana Yagam Sastriya of Tanur, Krishnapillai of Palyamkottai, and N. Samuel of Tranquebar were known as the triumvirate of Tamil Christian poets. One of his earliest compositions was about a journey to Tanur called Thanjai Pen Padam. Another was Kalukami, where the strong drink talks about her glories, which made the drunkard blush in shame. His book Gospel Lyrics contains 200 songs composed over a period of 60 years. He is remembered as a translator who put German hymns into Tamil meter, including the following: Gottesei Dank in alle Welt, Kathruku Stotharam. O Haupt voll Blut und Wunden, Irathongarjum Kulthum, Nun Freutjuk, Gott's kinder Altmajig Katharaven Manthe. Herr Jesu Christ, Dick zu uns went, Jesuvi, near Yengelei, wer Weiss, Nahe mir mein Ende null Pommer, Savu Velai. Laudamus am Thutherkey Rome, du os Cones Weltgeburt Veg Hupruku in Bamana. Writer of books. Rev.N.Samuel wrote several books on Lutheran history, theology, and practical Christian living. He wrote for children, too. He wrote in Tamil and German. He also translated several books from German to Tamil. Some of the books authored by him are Thupa Kalasam, Censer of Incense, Thiruti Ruvaranthadi, Pocket Communion Book, Alat Unaped Uz, Pushpakodi, Companion to the Village Preacher, Life of Zegan Balg, Tranquebar Mission History, Village Sermons Volume 1, Suvi Seshavakya Pyrasamapad Agam, Sermonic Works on the Gospels, Village Sermons Volume 2, Niruba Vakya Pyrasamapad Agam, Sermonic Works on the Epistles, Plain Talk of a Plain Christian, The Pocket Prayer Book, Martin Luther Sastriya Vivi Usarath Era Surukam, Jerusalem Nagaralevu, Jesusaruvarthagel, Christian Proverbs and Maxims Narumalakathu, Tharonga Emission Saradharam, Orasundanalja Anam, Meditations for Lent with 40 Meditations. Alat Solvane. For theological students, he wrote Sama Yoshida Vedavakia Kuripa Concordance, Sathya Vedhabaram, An Introduction to the Bible, Thirusha by Varusha Vivram, Outlines of Church History. For children, he wrote children's story book, Palaputram, Moral Tales, Kadara Malakudai, Basket of Flowers. children's prayer book. For parents, he wrote Petra Ojakum. His translations: May Manasthabum Kania, translation of Heinrich Muller's Tears of Repentance, a booklet that is a good preparation for partaking in the Holy Communion. He was one of those responsible for the translation of a revised version of the New Testament. Pastor. Most of his life was spent in Tranquebar, the little port town that welcomed missionaries like Bartholomeus Egenbalg sent by the King of Denmark in 1706 and Christian Friedrich Schwartz, sponsored at the time by the Danish Missionary Society in Copenhagen. He was ordained on the 31st of October 1878 at Tranquebar by Senior J.M.N. Schwartz. From that moment on, he served as pastor in the Lutheran mission until his death on the 20th of May 1927, except for a brief stint with the Missouri mission towards the end of his life from 1921 to 1927. The towns, cities where he served are Tranquebar 1880–1891 and Amp 1897–1919, Caracal 1897–1919, Manakramam 1919, Purwaya 1917–1919, Bangalore 1921, and Madras. He preached his last sermon on the 1st of May 1927 in the Lutheran Adiklanath Church, Purisarwalkam, Madras, on John chapter 10 verses 11 to 16. Theologian. His theology was rooted in Lutheran pietism, a renewed form of the post-Reformation Lutheranism that was held by theologians in Halle in the 16th century, such as August Hermann Frank, 1663–1727, and Philip Jacob Spener, 1635–1705. Needless to say, he was well versed with the life, works, and teachings of Martin Luther. He was a great lover of Spurgeon's works, and possessed many of his books in his library. After reading John Plowman's talk and John Plowman's pictures, he wrote Ulath Usolvain. Rev.N.Samuel was known as Tamil Spurgeon, although it is not clear if he was thus known because of his strictness in doctrinal matters or because of his homiletic gifts. He was also familiar with Waltherian views of Lutheranism. His allegiance was to God first and only then to his church. When it was time for the German missionaries to leave India, leaving the leadership on Indian shoulders, it was decided that the church would follow an episcopal form of church government. Rev.N.Samuel felt that this and other innovations that were introduced were not according to the biblical model and protested. When he realized that change was inevitable, in the middle of 1921, he left TELC that he had served all his life, and joined the Missouri mission. He returned to the TELC in 1927 shortly before his death.